What's up, friends? This is Manni, and yesterday we had the full review for the brand new Wolf ship here on the channel. And I promised you yesterday we're gonna look at the Wolf as an escort style use case with its ballistic gun versus larger sub-targets, storing it in the large ships, attacking larger capital vessels, and destroying their sub-targets with the ballistic Gatlings. And we're gonna figure out how many Wolf ships fit into the Polaris hangar, as well as flying it into the Idris. And I want to offer my apologies for yesterday's review where I mixed up a few things. For instance, I called the Mustang a Gladiator. I called the Prospector a Hull A in the heat of the moment. And I said that the F7 was a light fighter, which it's not. It's a medium fighter. And I was rushing out this video because, you know, in order to be relevant with the new ship guide, you gotta be kind of fast. And I did want to make it a super whole complete video, but in trying to do so, I made some slip-ups. My apologies. Thanks for pointing this out. I wish you guys would... some of you would be a little more tolerant to a couple of mistakes being made. But in any case, also something I wanted to deliver is the promise of showing you how to make the pip larger. Here on Vehicle Weapons, when you scroll down, there's the Gunnery UI magnification toggle and very important toggle lead leg pip. I promised to show you those things and the advantages that it brings in yesterday's video, and then I forgot. So there it is, okay? Make sure to bind those buttons and use them. So, we're now jumping into our beautiful Wolf, okay? I'm storing it at the side for a second because I want to put it into my Idris. So, what I do first, I put it on the side, then I spawn the Idris, and then I open the ramp. I still wish that you could spawn anything that fits onto the freight elevator in the freight elevator. It would be so helpful if you could spawn any snub fighter, any little fighter, or even vehicle, anything that fits there. You should be able to just bring it up in the freight elevator. This way you could save yourself the trouble of spawning two individual ships on that huge hangar deck, right? In any case, we're now sitting right comfortably here in the Idris, and I don't think I need to count how many Krugers would fit inside here because the amount is literally ridiculous. You could probably fit, no problem, 20 Kruger ships in the Idris hangar and maybe even more. Yeah, so I'm not gonna do that. That doesn't seem, this information does not seem necessary to me. But what I think is necessary is to figure out how many of them we can store in the Polaris. So that's what we're gonna do now. We are meanwhile in space, and I'm doing the old Galactica start. Vroom! Out of the ship. This looks so cool, man. And it's a little dangerous because the slightest touch on some corner and at least me with the little ship go up in flames. But yeah, so there we are, out here, not far from Crusader, and my friend Channy is once again with us, and he's brought the Polaris. And so we're gonna try and engage the size 6 ballistic cannons on the Polaris. He's firing back at me with them, but most importantly, the freaking point defense is firing back at me, because he's never gonna hit me with those cannons, but the point defense is a different story, okay? Also, shortly I will show you the sub-targeting feature that allows you to not manually aim like I'm doing here, but instead use an auto aiming pip to target a certain turret, okay? Also very important for you to know, yesterday we have seen it in the review, whenever I destroyed a light fighter or anything, usually I had to destroy all of the shields, and then I would destroy the target, which means that we have not really had the advantage of shield breaking him with ballistics, but we did have the full counting disadvantage of 50% armor resistance versus projectiles counting. Now, this is the moment the turret is destroyed. Channy told me exactly in this moment this turret was destroyed and he was no longer able to fire at me. However, the point defense would of course still engage me. I've tried firing in the general direction of where it seems like the point defense is shooting from, but I could not destroy even one of them like this. Also, this can be done with using the sub-targets feature that I show later. However, it's a little difficult right now to determine which thing you currently have selected, because for me at least, on the MFDs, I see no indicator as to what I have currently targeted. I would have to physically see where the little dot is to understand what I'm targeting at. Again, next test here, Channy was now piloting the Polaris and turning it around and making it difficult for me to target a certain turret. And while I was still relatively okay hitting that thing, of course, together with the point defense and me being the only target here, made it very difficult for me to finish a turret. But this is something we have to highlight here in this scenario. I'm a light fighter engaging a capital ship with a whole lot of point defense, okay? And I'm the only available target for those point defenses. I should never ever be successful in even scratching the paint of this capital ship alone, okay? This is something that you have to like amplify. You have to imagine there's 3 or 4 wolves like me coming in. Now the same point defense is still there, but there's now 4 times the amount of targets available, 4 times the amount of focus fire against the ship's turrets and sub-modules. So now the things will change completely, and you'll suddenly be able to strip a large capital ships very quickly and very effectively of its defenses, all right? Including the point defense, especially when the sub-targeting feature is used, okay? So while this looks like it can't really be done because I'm alone, be sure to know it should not be possible alone. All right, this is something that you will be successfully able to pull off with multiple light fighters using ballistics doing exactly this. And then we're back in an area where I think ballistics are actually useful. But other than that, in PvP situations and dogfights, you would 9 out of 10 times want to have Badger, Panther, and Rhinos on your ship, or perhaps the NDBs to have unlimited ammo capacity, never having to overheat and cool down the weapons, usually having much faster projectile speeds, and most importantly, not having to deal with a 50 to 55% damage resistance against your projectile rounds, okay? To make it short, projectiles are in a really bad spot in Star Citizen right now, and the only ones who can help with that is CIG. So let's see if something's going to happen about that. Now, we're opening the hangar doors, and this is what it looks like when you store 1 of the wolves inside. And of course, that allows me to edit this picture here and store easily 3 of them. But you can very easily store 4 wolves in the Polaris if you just put them sideways like this. That is not going to be an issue at all. And that is insane. Can you imagine 4 escort wolves coming out of the freaking Polaris all of a sudden swarming you with 4,200 bullets fired from each of them? You know, that is crazy. This is something, an escort that can really make a difference in a capital versus capital battle and strip the enemy capital of all of its defenses and turrets. By the way, I tried to fit it here under the bridge, but it doesn't work because of the fin. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a really dividing factor. Now, let me show you how to destroy point defense. You see, there's a white outline and boop, there it's gone. Let me show you this again. If you have the ship targeted and you're in precision mode, then you see the outline of the little gun on the point defense. And you target that little gun, not the turret. You target the gun. And as soon as you hit it a couple of times, the white outline goes away. That's when the point defense is deactivated. I say that again because I've already said it, but I know many people don't know about it. Now, here we go with the size 7 Conqueror gun turret on the Idris. My friend Cherny is sitting in the gun turret. Somehow the point defense was not engaging me back. Because it was my own Idris, I guess that's why. But you see here, pop, that's how long it took to destroy that size 7 double Conqueror gun turret and the most important weapon on the Idris, aside from the railgun or Hurston Dynamic Exodus laser beam, okay? Now, when we are in a one-on-one versus a more dangerous turret, because obviously the cannon turret is never going to hit me, but here we have Galdarine repeaters, which are 1,800 meters per second anti-fighter defense turrets, basically. All right, it's the same type of weapon that the point defense fires, okay, with the same meters per second stats. And as soon as I get up to like 800 meters, it becomes very difficult to dodge these shots. But at above 1,200 meters, it's very easy to just dodge. Channy is firing with a gimbal, so he has an auto-targeting going, but it almost seems to me like the point defense is doing a better job at predict targeting and auto-targeting moving ships, right? Even a better job compared to the gimbaled auto-aiming turrets. But that was the last shot that just destroyed his turrets. You see it going up in flames now. All right. Now, let me show you how to actually use the sub-targeting feature. In Vehicles Targeted Cycling, scrolling down is a button called Cycle Lock Sub-Target Forward. There's also a backwards, and that is the R button by default. When you use that, you can specifically target areas of the ship like thrusters, engine, point defense, turrets, and so on. The difficulty is to figure out which sub-target do you have selected right now, because right here in the MFD, in the targeting MFD, it should somewhere say what you have currently sub-targeted, but it doesn't show it to me. And I now know, because I was close to the turret, that I have the upper top left size 5 turret selected right now. But if you're just looking at the ship from a far distance and you see a little green dot, you don't know if the dot indicates to something before or behind the ship you don't really know where it is. So that is a bit of a problem. We need the sub-targeting indicator to know what it is. But you saw how easy it was, even while making maneuvers and flying, to hit the target, exactly that turret, while being on the move with auto aim. You could even use gimbals like I'm doing here. I'm now having the gimbal active, and I can fire in a 5 degrees arc in front of me with an auto aim gimbal. Unfortunately, 100 shots left, so I'm almost overheated and then I'm almost empty. But you see, my friend has very little chance to hit me at that range, while at the same time I'm extremely efficient, and it's very easy for me to hit that that turret right there. And this would also work if the enemy was moving with the ship. So this is how you use sub-targeting feature with the R button after figuring out which target you have selected, to strip capital ships of their sub-targets, and in doing so, bypassing their large capital ship shields, which energy weapons couldn't do. So this is actually where the ballistics score very well and have something that only they can do. And this is of course something you could use the Wolf as an escort together with and inside large ships. But yeah, let me know what you think, ladies and gents. Again, sorry for my slip-ups in yesterday's video. Trying to make it better next time. But there will sometimes be some mistakes where I, confuse a name or something. Bear with me. I'm not perfect. Have a good one, my friends, and see you in the next video. Manni signing off. Bye-bye.